Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. We're going to call this meeting to order. We are here to discuss and ultimately select an interim city manager. So without further ado, is there a motion to adopt our agenda? Move a motion by Ariola, second by Hayes Santos to adopt our agenda. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passes unanimously. So first of all, I want to thank all of our candidates. Really appreciate you expressing your interest in this interim position. I was able to speak to all of our candidates, including one that has since removed himself from consideration. Enjoyed those conversations very, very much. I also want to thank Mr. Varvel for helping organize all of this and getting this process together for us and getting us to this point. Because we have so many candidates for consideration, my thought, and I'm happy to hear what you all think as well, but my thought was that we could each rank the candidates according to our own preference. We have a little sheet in front of us here that has that. What we've done in the past is one would be your highest ranked down to, I think we have 8 finalists here. And then after scoring, we could see where the clear preference is. If there are a couple names that are very close, we could go back, have a discussion, and then ultimately vote on who we would like to select. We should also, I suggest, authorize me to negotiate with a second candidate in case negotiations with the first are not successful, or the first choice removes themselves from consideration. That has happened in the past. Instead of having to start from scratch, we could go right to that second ranked person because we absolutely need to get somebody in place as soon as possible to start working with Mr. Feldman on transition and getting them firmly in place by about 1 month from now. So those are my thoughts. We'll hear from the commission and then figure out how we're going to move forward. Commissioner Ariola.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I can agree with putting up sort of a ranking, but what I'd like to do is at least have conversation on the dais about preferred candidates. At least I'd like to express my feelings. So it was a really great pool of candidates, and that was really, really encouraging for me because I have heard public comments that the situation would not attract good candidates, and so that turned out to not be true. We have some amazing candidates that applied, and for me, I think that bodes well for the future of our city. The interviews that I conducted were really, really in-depth. We talked a lot about the state of the government, both as an organization, and we spoke about the need to really, really focus on our main mission, which is the people of Gainesville. And so in those conversations, there were really 2 candidates that rose to the top for me. One was an internal candidate, Fred Murray, and the other was an external candidate, Cynthia Curry. And in my conversations with both candidates, I felt that they both had such a strong grasp of the leadership that is going to be necessary for the next year. This commission has done some really fantastic work, and I think that the selection of the next interim is going to be key in succeeding in that work. But I think there also has to be a really strong understanding about where the organization goes immediately and how we are able to heal the organization. And in that conversation, for me, it tilted ever so slightly in the direction of Cynthia Curry. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to go with an external candidate because I believe that there is strength in continuity, strength in internal candidates, and I believe that that has its place. I simply must say I was very impressed with my interview. I was very impressed with the body of work, and I was very impressed with Cynthia Curry's demeanor. And I think demeanor is going to be very important going forward for this city. And so, as much as I feel strongly about promotion from within the organization and seeing internal employees rise to the top, I feel as though in this particular situation, we have a candidate who is going to do an excellent job. I do believe that. And so I'm interested to hear my colleagues' thoughts, or we can go straight into the ballots, but I really thought that was worth saying.
All right, we appreciate that. Thank you very much. Commissioner Hayes Santos?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd rather us not do balloting or ranking them. I am in concur with Commissioner Ariola. For me, I want to first thank everyone who applied. Thank you very much. There are some great candidates, but I think Cynthia Curry rose to the top. For me, having extensive management experience, and definitely at the local level, was very important to me. And Cynthia Curry has that, and I think also for an area that's either our size or larger, because I think it has different issues than smaller communities, and that's why I think Ms. Curry will be good. I think one of the reasons why I believe that moving forward with her versus an internal candidate is I think because of all the commotion and stuff like that we've had, that having a fresh set of eyes, someone fresh to come in and be able to look at things is important, and I think she has the ability to work well with the whole commission and the community. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Ward?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I'm comfortable with however the rest of my colleagues want to move forward, but I will say that I came down the same place as Commissioner Ariola and Commissioner Santos have indicated thus far. Everybody who applied has strengths, and I appreciate all those who did apply and had very nice conversations. I don't say nice is not the right word. I had useful conversations with everybody and productive conversations, and I appreciate everyone's effort and time and passion. There were some folks who really clearly care very much about what we're trying to accomplish here, and about the people who work in this building and the other city buildings, as well as the people who live here and the people we serve. Ms. Curry's resume, her CV is terrific though, and her grasp of the issues we're working with was, to me, gave her the edge. I mean, we're talking about someone who is currently working with the Everglades Foundation, which is the sort of thing that speaks to a lot of our folks here in Gainesville. She's worked at high levels of finance within the university system, which obviously is kind of a big deal in our community, as well as having the municipal management experience. She's also done some project work for our city, and that matters too. So again, I am happy to do this however we like, but I'm enthusiastic about Ms. Curry's candidacy. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Commissioner Sacco?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I agree with my colleagues. One, I wish I could hire everyone, because everyone I met with was far more competent than I could ever hope to be at running this city. And you all had wonderful resumes, amazing skill sets and experiences that really speak to your dedication to helping communities rise up and do good. However, my conversation with Ms. Curry, it gave me a lot of perspective in that she is originally from Gainesville, so she knows not the city of Gainesville as an organization, but she knows the people of Gainesville. She knows what our communities are like. She has, as Commissioner Ward said, had some experience working with us and our government, but not so much to be, how to put it, to be wrapped up in some of the culture that we're trying to move away from and heal. So she has enough awareness, but I think that a fresh, mostly outside perspective for our organization is best in this year and a half of, I'm gonna call it growth and healing. So I was, given that that is my intent of what we do with this opportunity in this next year, I think that she would be the best candidate for that. That said, when we look for permanent, please all apply again. You were all great. But I think for this moment in our city, we need someone like Ms. Curry. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Commissioner Duncan Walker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I had some absolutely outstanding conversations with every candidate that made it to this part of the process. It was incredible to hear the wealth of not just experience, but also passion that everyone seemingly brought to this table. And so it was fun for me. I led my interviews in a very open, very candid kind of way. And while it was formal to a certain degree, I kind of took the angle that I really wanted people to be able to feel free enough to be open and comfortable to have very candid conversation. One of the things that I was most impressed with was every candidate knew Gainesville, not just the city, but they know the challenges that we faced. And each one of them came with potential solutions or ways that they could see themselves moving this city forward. I remember that there were things that were recurring themes with each one of the candidates. One of the first things that just about everyone said they would lean on in was rebuilding trust. That immediately struck a chord with me. I also heard as a recurring theme, rebuilding community. There was one candidate who seemed to not just understand the need to do that on a very basic level, but one who had done that. One that had over 35 years of experience in doing that. One that had led an organization through very similar challenges that this city faced. I was particularly impressed with something that this candidate said in terms of team, what they envisioned team as being. I think for us as a city right now, the concept of team is incredibly important. What we are as a team sitting here at this commission, the charters as a team, our staff as our team, and our neighbors in Gainesville. We're all one big team. This candidate really drove that home. And I believe it was the combination of their very impressive resume, their ability to clearly articulate what they saw our issues as being and how they envisioned moving us forward that really helped me to be very, very clear and confident in the decision that I was comfortable with making. It was important to me to talk to everyone because in all honesty, I had spoken with people who love Gainesville, who told me that they would be interested in applying, but they didn't feel comfortable doing it. Not right now. And so for anyone who took the opportunity to apply for interim city manager at this time, I'll tell you just like I told you when I interviewed you, thank you. Because I believe it takes special people to run into or walk into intentionally the challenges that we have faced as a city. I thank you all for your applications. I thank you for your commitment. Ms. Curry was outstanding. I struggled a little bit with the idea of whether I wanted to be overly concerned with selecting an internal candidate. And one of the things that helped me was our internal candidate assured me that whoever was selected, if it was not him, that he would work as a team. And I believe that. I believe we have the strength in that office. I believe we certainly have the ability in that office to add Ms. Curry to our team, knowing that the existing team will work hand in hand with her. And so, just like all of my colleagues, has this ever happened up here before?
Oh, yeah.
This is amazing. Not since I've been here. But this is great. This is amazing. I'm excited about that as well, because I believe this is also indicative of what team is. And so today I'm very pleased and I'm honored to also put forth Ms. Cynthia Curry.
All right, thank you, commissioners. Really appreciate your thoughtful comments. I am in concurrence. It was clear to me, and I will say that going in, I was most interested in an external candidate if one presented themselves as fully capable and ready for the task. I will say that Mr. Murray made my decision very, very difficult. Fred, you interviewed incredibly well. And I was just, after I got done, I was just proud to know that I work with you. I was just so incredibly proud to know that you have, you know, Mr. Murray's been here just a little bit longer than I have. And so knowing everything that we've been through, and he's been a major part of that for 13 years. And so it was very difficult, but to me, Ms. Curry clearly presented herself as the right person for our city at this time. Her experience, her approach towards management, her commitment to our entire community are just exceptional. And she will be a phenomenal addition to our team, as Commissioner Duncan Walker just stated. Yeah, it sounds like we're in concurrence. I think it just makes most sense to get a motion, and then we'll go out to public comment. So Commissioner Ariola, I'll turn back to you.
Yeah, I'll make the motion really quick, and then I want to make a comment. So I move that we authorize the mayor to negotiate the appointment of the interim city manager position to Cynthia Curry. And if those negotiations fail, the second rank, Mr. Fred Murray.
Okay, motion by Ariola, second by Commissioner Sacco to appoint Ms. Curry as our interim city manager with backup of Mr. Murray if that becomes necessary. And commissioners, I will do my best to conduct those discussions over the next week. So by our meeting next Thursday, we know, and hopefully we'll get an item on that agenda to approve for y'all with that contract and those terms. And if something unforeseeable happens, I'll let you know that as well. And before I make any final offer. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. This comment is for the six of us up here. I am really glad that we can get to a unanimous vote on this. At least I hope it will be. But I have to say this because as important as it is to select the right employee, as important as that is, it is even more important that we work together and that those employees see us working together. And the example that we set up here is the example we set for our employees. We have an empty chair on this dais because a commissioner she is more than capable of speaking for herself, and you heard her reasons. We have to be better to one another, to our employees. We have to create spaces where we can have safe conversations with each other. It has to be done up here. It has to be done when we're meeting with our officers. It has to be done when we're meeting with employees. And I felt like that needed to be said, because I know it's been a difficult couple of years for myself as well. And so I would be remiss if I didn't say that going forward, but I am very, very appreciative of your support for my motion. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Ward?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I wanted to point out, and thank you, Mr. Ariola, as well. I want to point out and be clear about this. We all, I think, probably are thinking the same thing, but it's worth mentioning. This is not a 6-month interim. This is not till the end of the year interim. I think for me, knowing that we're going to elect 4 positions on this dais next August and potentially going into next November, I don't think the permanent manager should be chosen until after that November election, maybe after the August one if everything is set then. But this is a long-term interim position, and I think it needs to be specifically said that we're not looking to flip here in a few months. This is going to go on for a good long while, and is effectively going to be almost as long a term city manager as we've had since 2016. So that's important for us all to keep in mind. It's certainly something that I talked about with all the candidates, including Ms. Curry, and I'm sure you all did too, but it needed to be said out loud, I think. I also asked her specifically, and all the candidates that I talked to, would they be, if things work out, if everybody on the dais looks at each other when it is time to choose a permanent and says, well, we really like what the interim's doing, would each of them be okay with considering the permanent position? And every one of them, including Ms. Curry, told me yes. So that's an important thing to know going in, but it is absolutely not a promise that that's what's going to happen. There are difficult things that are going to be done and worked through over the next year plus, and it may not work out like that. But I think that was worth saying as well. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Just so you all know, I was planning on early next year, one of our January meetings to agenda an item to talk about the process moving forward with all of our interim positions, and I will still do that. I think we need a little time for everyone to settle into those positions, but I will. That was my plan to do that in early January. So we'll keep a lookout for that. Commissioner Sacco.
So thank you, Commissioner Ward. It's one of the things that I also spoke with all of the candidates. So 2 things. One, I want Ms. Curry or Mr. Murray, if things don't work out with Ms. Curry, to know that we expect this to be as if you are permanent. You have the full weight and decision-making power of this position. It's not a, well, I'm only interim, I can't decide that yet. It's, you will be here for more than a year. Do the job as if it were the job. That is our hope and our expectation. But second, to your comment, Mr. Mayor, about letting folks settle into the position, I talked about it with some of our charters, and the suggestion was made that we as a commission be cognizant and conscious of the items and matters we place on the agenda or move forward for staff in the next few months, so that I think especially Ms. Curry can have time to settle, to fall into place without having at least 6 new projects thrown at her every meeting. So that's not really something we can make a motion on. Not that we could now with one other, but just.
You're saying 5 is good.
I'm saying that I'm asking that we be really cognizant of what we ask of our charters, especially one like the city manager, who I think carries half of our community builders under the office, and just be cognizant of the fact that she will have to be coming into a new role with already an abundance of projects, not to mention the ARP projects that we will have to lift up next year. So that's my PSA. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Santos.
Thank you, Mayor. And I just wanted to, after hearing Commissioner Sacco on our first point, I want to just say that myself too. I mean, that go in this position and don't just act like you're a caretaker trying to just keep it for a little bit. I mean, I think you have to go in there as getting the job done for the city, and not just because as a pure caretaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we will open it up for public comment. We'll start with anybody in the chambers.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Cynthia Moore Chestnut. First, I want to say I agree with the sentiments expressed by the commission in looking at this as a long-term appointment and waiting until the positions are filled next year by 4 new commissioners, perhaps. That's one. 2, I wonder if you could, for the public's sake, if you could give a brief summary of Cynthia Curry's experience and her qualifications. Several of us here know her well, but we think that it is worth sharing with the public. She is an excellent candidate, and I would ask that you do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Larry, over to you.
Thank you, Mayor. Give me 1 second just to get our line open.
Line muted.
And we should have a caller who wished to, we should have a caller who wished to.
Line unmuted.
Sorry about that. The caller wished to remain anonymous. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, thank you, commissioners and citizens of Gainesville. I had a question for you. Maybe you could shed some light on if all of the commissioners interviewed all of the candidates and what that process looked like. That'd be question 1. And question 2 is, did all the commissioners interview the same candidate? And question 3 is, was this an equitable and inclusive process? And those 3 questions I would really like you to explain. If it wasn't inclusive, if the commissioners didn't even interview all of the internal candidates or all of the candidates, how the city would see your leadership from the bench that you speak of for forming a commission that is equitable and inclusive. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I will allow each commissioner to answer for themselves, but I interviewed all of the candidates that remained active through. We had one candidate withdraw before my interview was scheduled, but other than that, I did interview all the candidates, yes. Okay, Ms. Fox, welcome.
Good afternoon, and
Afternoon.
thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, for allowing me this opportunity. I have a few questions and concerns about, is it absolutely necessary for us to rush into this process of an interim city manager? In the past, I know that I have, when there was a position like this one to come open, and once you pick the finalists, the 5 or how many you decided on, you always had community input. I think that's very, very important. I know the last 2 charters, at least the last one in the last month, we didn't know anything, the community didn't know anything about it until the person was chosen, which is a person, you know, I think hopefully will work out. But I think we need to go back to where we were when there were important candidates, like the city commission, the city manager. We should have community input. You used to have, I know Mayor Paul is probably the only one that was here during that time. We used to have community input because the community is the people that elected you all to represent them. So the process appears to be that it doesn't matter, the community doesn't matter, they don't have to have any input, it's just left up to you all. And I think that's very, very concerning, not only to me, but a lot of people. And we have to think about rebuilding our community. As I spoke with the mayor last week on another issue, our community is in a mess. The city is in a mess. And I love Gainesville just like most of you do. And we just wanted to make sure that the process is done properly. So I'm very disappointed with this process of 5 people that we elected, not giving us an opportunity to meet your last 5 candidates and just kind of meet and give you our input, the community. I think we are making a bad decision by not involving the community in the process. And I wish you would reconsider and do that. You know, I trust all of you, but let the community be a part and meet those candidates before you just vote and decide that we're going to pick this one. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fox. Larry, back to you.
Mayor, there are not any other callers at this time.
Okay, thank you. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Mike Perkins, citizen. I'm just glad that Ms. Fox went before me. My heart was feeling real heavy, and it was what she just mentioned to you guys. I don't feel a part. You know, you made a motion, you second the motion, and you're getting ready to vote. Why am I here? I came here because of citizen input. I came here because I wanted to be a part of the process. I came here though thinking that you guys wanted to hear what we have to say and what do we think. You know, why are we not a part of this process? Why are you making a decision on our behalf and not allowing us to have any input? I just don't feel right about that. Also, we have history. The last few city managers that you've hired came from the outside. So these internal candidates have been sitting there patiently, learning, growing, experiencing, going through all these things that we have experienced. I would think that they've learned something. I would think that they have an ability to do a better job than somebody coming from the outside. That's just my heart speaking. But when will we give them an opportunity? How long will they have to sit in that job before we decide that maybe the best candidate is the one that's been sitting there going through all of this experience all these years? It never happens. And here we are again with a candidate from the outside that did not work out. City's in uproar with the last candidate and the one before that. City winds up in uproar, and we can't wind up doing the same thing that we did before that got us in this spot. So when will we learn? I'm going to say one more thing because it's on my heart. This city commission itself, you all on one accord. We're having a special election because there's a city manager that didn't feel good about that you guys constantly being on one accord. Waking up every morning, supposedly independent, interviewing 10 candidates, and all of you waking up with the same heart. It doesn't feel good. Thanks for letting me share.
Thank you. Larry, I'll check with you one more time.
Yes, sir. No callers.
Okay, thank you. As to process, I'm glad that you brought that up, Ms. Fox. For interims, we absolutely need to choose one. Mr. Feldman will be leaving imminently, and we need to have somebody in that position to fulfill those responsibilities. We traditionally, for permanent replacements, go through exactly the process. We will host community meetings, allow meet and greets for the finalists. That is what we have always done, and we will certainly do so for this candidate. But for interims, just like Mr. Nee or Mr. Folston that are in their interim positions, those folks are leaving. We've got to get somebody in place to keep the city moving forward. And so I will be happy to work with you and any other folks from the community as we get to that stage where we're talking about hiring permanent folks for all those positions, as we have done in the past. I agree, that's very important to do. And second, it's neither here nor there, but I just want to clarify that for the city manager, well, Mr. Feldman was an outside hire. The city manager before that was an internal candidate, internal hire that was the director of the Community Redevelopment Agency. So, we have done both. I think it just depends on who the person is that raises themselves up and clearly presents themselves as the right person for the job at that time. And I think you heard from all of us that Ms. Curry, did that and represented herself very well. We'll go back to Commissioner Ariola.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I just want to thank the public for coming and commenting and expressing your feelings. I take my job of representing my district and taking votes for the city very seriously. And if any citizens or any residents want to get involved and hear my thinking on issues, you're more than welcome to reach out to my office and schedule time. I take most every meeting, so thank you.
Thanks. And I know that one of Ms. Curry's stated objectives is to start meeting with people immediately, start meeting with folks in the community. And so if anybody is interested in doing that, you can reach out to her or me, and I'll arrange that. And I know she'll be reaching out to many folks herself as well to start setting up those meetings. So with that, let's go ahead and move to a vote. All in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. All opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Congratulations, Ms. Curry. We'll get together very soon to discuss terms and get that on the agenda. Ms. Gainey, if you'll place an item on the agenda for next week, please. Up next, we have general public comment. Anybody that wants to speak to anything that was not on our agenda today?
Mr. Mayor, Evelyn Fox, I didn't give my name before, please forgive me. Commissioner Santos said that if any of the people that elected him wanted to meet with him, they need to reach out. I think community meetings is the thing. I don't think people should be reaching out to you. I think you should go in the communities every quarter, perhaps, all the commissioners, and have community meetings. Hear how the people that elected you feel about things and share those feelings. But I really don't think they need to reach out to you. I think they need to reach out, you need to reach out to them and get a good feeling. And I'm sure Mrs. Walker, she's had some meetings with people in the community. And I think Commissioner Johnson and some of the other ones. But we need to go back to you all, going back to your community and having those type of meetings and see how, let people share how they feel about different things. I think that is the problem that we have had in the past. The community doesn't know anything until after it's done, and I don't think that's a good way of running the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Larry, do you have anybody for general public comment?
No, sir, we don't.
Okay, anybody else in chamber? Okay, we'll go to then commission comment, starting with Commissioner Santos.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And Ms. Fox, I agree. We were doing those before COVID happened, and we were doing them. I think every commissioner had one in their district, and then we did some telephone town halls because of COVID and not being able to have that. And I think all the commissioners were doing that. I mean, we're getting closer to getting back to it, and I think that was a good move that we were doing. That I think, was it the 5th month or something like that, or
Fifth Thursdays.
Fifth Thursday of whenever there was a Thursday, which is like every 2-3 months, we were doing that. And getting back to that, I think would be good. Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, and I've been scheduling these neighborhood walks as well, and they've been well attended. You're right. We are constantly looking for new and better ways to get out into the community, and any support that you or anybody can give us in doing that. I know that you have 6 commissioners that are very interested in doing that, and as well as our staff. I mean, at these neighborhood walks, we've got a dozen different members from different parts of our city there to hear as well what people are thinking, and so it's always a work in progress. But we take your comments seriously and agree that we can always do better when it comes to that.
Mayor.
Yeah. Larry, we're on to member comment now.
Okay,
so
fair enough.
Commission comment. Anybody else have any? Okay, well, thank you very much. Again, Ms. Curry, congratulations. I look forward to speaking with you soon. And with that, this meeting is adjourned.